What's up? Good morning, guys. How we doing? Hope you're all having a good trading day here so far, but let's get to work. We have a bit of a range day, of course, very representative of what we've been seeing lately. A lot of ranges, right? Take a look at the daily. A lot of sideways action. We gotta hang out, right? No big bets on breakouts until that opportunity presents itself in a meaningful way. Until then, at least me personally, I'm looking at every breakout essentially and saying, I don't think it's going to go very far. Again, unless we have reason to believe otherwise. So let's keep moving here and look for our first couple of setups here of the stream. Again, head down scalping today and seeing if we can pull out some dollars. Today's goal is a 5K goal, as is typical for me as of late in this range market. So we'll see if we can hit that here today. How are you guys doing? Good morning. Dips and Peaks, Vin, Taz, Christian, what's up, guys? Javaz, good to see you. Pat, Joe, good morning, guys. How we doing? By the way, we are getting some Trump headlines, so keeping an eye on those. If anything comes through that causes a big move, I will let you guys know what we're looking at. As far as speakers today, though, we have a pretty booked up schedule. Just a lot of Trump stuff going on. So again, if we do get some Trump headlines that could be market moving or are market moving, I'll let you guys know. Peter, John, what's up, guys? How we doing? All right, I'm trading a 2-minute chart here. And we have 43 seconds left on this 2-minute bar until the close and rollover. Kind of back down here toward 23K. Of course, 23 has been an interesting spot in the last couple of weeks. 23,000 honestly has been kind of a pain in the ass. We just keep getting stuck to it. But the more we test it, in my head, the less meaningful it becomes. So hanging out around it here today, I'm not too concerned with 23. Even though, it is a tier 1 level. Not too worried about it. All right, 15 seconds left here. Now, I am looking at this trading range, right? Kind of a rough draw. So we got to be careful right here in the middle. Again, the middle is, I call it algo and degenerate territory, unless there's a really clean setup that we can kind of justify, right? Okay, now if this 2-minute bar could actually push higher up toward, I'd say like 23, like mid to high 2330s. You know, even if we got to close near the high of a bull bar, especially inside of this wick here, a strong close out of the bulls, I would want to short, believe it or not, just to bet against the breakout. I'm really not interested in breaking. I'm not interested in betting on big breakouts here today. I just really don't think most of these are going to go very far. We saw that with this wick here. By the way, Trump did say, according to CBS today, he did indicate that he's planning on firing Powell. All right, 30 seconds out here. You know, this ATR right now honestly is kind of deceiving because we have this big bar here that approached 75 points on its range. Right before that, ATR was a little below 20, 19 pretty much for a lot of this morning, right around 20 for a lot of this morning. Now currently, of course, that bumped up due to this big outsized bar, but realistically I'm looking at ATR more so still right around 20-ish points after this volatility kind of calms back down. So 20 is manageable. We can certainly deal with 20 here, but again, a rough chop here, kind of a rough draw. I'm looking at this kind of look here right now. Kind of an expanding wedge. So we got to be careful in the middle. But if we get a reasonable entry bar with room to the outskirt, that is a scalp that I need to take. Okay, we got a minute 22 out from the rollover here, this 2-minute bar. Again, kind of hanging out right in the middle of this channel. That makes our job kind of tough here. Bruce, good morning. How we doing? Good to see you. All right, Bulls, come on now. If we can take this a bit higher, again, up toward kind of the high end of this channel, this rough drawn channel that I have drawn out here, I'd like to short a strong bull close. Let the bulls get nice and cocky and fade them is my mentality here. But the bulls can't really do anything here. Volatility is pretty low in these last few bars. There we go, 50 seconds out. These bulls are weak, man. Reasonable close, not the greatest close. This bar now becomes very important. If we see a close in this region, well, this region in general, I want to short it. Bet against the bulls taking it very far. All right, 60 seconds out here. Come on, bulls, do something for me. Well, these bulls are struggling to get anything done here. Bit of a stronger close, 5 seconds out. Nothing, on to the next bar. Let's see if this bar can be an entry for us. Again, I like to wait for the rollover here on setups like this. So we are 1 minute and 50 out. Yes, Joe, the 5 minute is looking relatively bullish. For me, because of this little channel here on both the 5 and the 2, I gotta hold off and watch how the 2 closes. Less likely, I think, that the bulls are able to just pump that through in a range market like this. All right, 15 seconds. Come on, bulls, get nice and cocky. We'll give this about 20 seconds here, see if we get a retest. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Didn't get the entry, though. You see this? It's just so representative of a range market. Immediately, the bulls get a little bit of confidence. Boom. Damn, had this closed a little higher, yeah, I'd have hit the button. But that's fine. I wonder if we got a headline right there anyway. This is the kind of thing that I mean, man. If you're betting on breakouts in a market like this, you're just, over time, I think you're just going to bleed. I mean, look, the bulls are struggling. Give up. Struggle, 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 give up. Now, obviously, I think there's some news involved on both these bars. We'll see if we get a headline here on this current bar. But damn, that's a big bear bar. 50 seconds out here from the close. Yeah, you imagine if I would have hit the button. I wouldn't have held it that long. I'd have pulled it pretty quick, but that's a crazy, crazy move. That range is going to be damn near 100 points when this bar closes in 30 seconds. Yeah, we already got the Powell headline. I don't believe this was that, unless it came from a more reliable source. All right, here comes the rollover in 7 seconds. Bull's trying to take it back up into the range. Yeah, Trump is likely to fire Powell soon. That came from a White House official, whereas previously it came from CBS. So I think we're looking at an uncertainty move here. Because I got to tell you, I don't imagine that... You have to remember, what does Trump want? Trump wants super low rates. Let's be honest, regardless of inflation. Because by the time inflation hits again, he'd be out of office. And what would everybody remember? Man, remember how much money I had when Trump was in office? And then, you know, if someone else gets elected, they would compare how they feel then. Because at that point, they'd have to raise rates again to battle that. This is all just a game to get votes. But the market itself, this is more just uncertainty. Because if we think about what would the market want, if Trump is going to fire Powell, kind of to exchange him for somebody who would do what Trump wants potentially, which is lower rates more aggressively, the market likes cheap money, regardless of long-term outcome. The market wants to make money now. The market doesn't really give a shit. If we're going to make money now and then it's all going to collapse. As long as we're going to make money now, that's good for the market. We'll deal with the repercussions of that later. So the market dumping off here, I think, is less about policy, more about uncertainty. But small move, all things considered. Brad, doing well with 10 Apex, 4 Take Profit Trader. Use code BIG. Well, good work, Brad. Keep it up. Scaling that thing horizontally. All right, you see this close here right at the previous bar's wick low? Small, not a coincidence. Small amount of insecurity there out of the bears. Small amount. Obviously, they're feeling pretty good about themselves right now. That's not a great close, though, all things considered. All right, 40 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. This bar here is quite important to me if we see a strong close out of either side. To these shrinking bear bodies. There we go. A little bit more confidence out of the bears. Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave that, and I will risk the signal bar. Okay. Having issues with my copier here. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, I think we're pretty good as far as the copier. We mostly got. I'm missing an account or two here on fills, it looks like, but that's okay. We'll see what we can get here. It'll probably fill us if we come back to break even. A little bit of an ugly entry, to be honest with you. Kind of a glitchy rollover because of all the volatility here. That's all right. The upside there is plenty for me to leave that, but if we retake the signal bar, I'm going to cut it and move on. Kind of a bigger trade here, by the way, because volatility is now way up. All right, big strong bounce. We're going to cut it there and move on. I missed a fill on a couple of the accounts. That was bizarre. I have not really had an issue with this copier up until right now. Okay, next bar. This bar is going to roll over here in about 5 seconds. Yeah, that's a strong close out of the bulls, but I got to give it one more since I just stopped out. Give one more and see if we get another strong close here out of the bulls or if the bears just fade this right back. They're trying to fade that thing right back. Let's see if they can, take a strong close here. About 60 seconds out here from this rollover. "35 seconds. We get an inside close here. There's nothing I can do. But let's see. A lot can change in 27 seconds. Inside close. No decision to be made on that bar. Next bar here, a minute 55 out. All right, 52 seconds. Again, this is a 2-minute chart if you're just joining us. With this volatility, I'm interested in letting these things go a little bit further. Putting on a little bit more risk, looking to get a little bit more. 28 seconds out. Let's see how we close here. Again, the 20 EMA on the 5-minute is just below 23,000 as it currently sits. The 5-minute chart, again, this is a 2-minute chart, but on the 5-minute chart, which is where I look at for the 20 EMA, it's more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't care, but other people do, so we have to pay attention, is right about there. So let's see how this bar closes or if the wick is a little big. Yeah, a bit of a big wick back here. Let's see if the bulls clean it up. Nope, there's the rollover. Kind of a big wick. Gonna hold off. Next bar. 2 minutes out. Okay, this is going to be a dual rollover here between the 5-minute and the 2-minute here. So what we really should do is look at both charts. Top left is your 5-minute, top right is the 2-minute. I'm executing off the 2-minute, but I'm also looking at the 5. If we get a reasonable close out of the bulls, again, it's going to roll over at the same time, 27 seconds from now, on both charts. Which, of course, if we get a reasonable close on one, it's likely to be a reasonable close on both. Then I will have to use a stop limit buy, since things are kind of moving here. Bit of a wick back, but still closing above the previous bar wick. I'll give that 30 seconds, see if we can get a push. If not, I'll pull it. 25 seconds. I only want to get a fill if we can take that out within the first 30 seconds of the bar. This is why I don't buy just the rollover. I use a stop limit buy instead, in case this shit happens. We end up seeing a range, right? Kind of an up, down, ascending bull kind of wedge. But we'll pull this in 5 seconds. Pull that. All right, minute 12 out from the rollover here, this 2-minute. Strong bear bar. Gonna be a few stops down here. Not a ton, because this level's relatively new. But we are looking at low a day down here, so you know there's gonna be some stops. Bears are probably trying to take that out. $35 seconds. Again, but the bull case here, you always gotta look at both sides, right? The bull case is gonna be, this is an ascending wedge. Headline here, Trump has drafted a letter to fire the Fed chair, New York Times. We might see that happen today. There's no official timeline. but we might see that happen today. Again, I'm not big on trading news, okay? So I'm not going to put a position on because the market does unreasonable things. But if we think about the more long-term effect of that, remember, why is Trump trying to fire Powell? Because he wants rates lowered. So if he can somehow get his own guy in, or woman in, that'll do what he wants to make, you know, him look good while he's in office. People tend to have a little bit more money when rates are lower. You still have to clean up that mess later, but in the meantime, you know, things tend to be a little bit better for a short period. The market doesn't care about the long-term repercussions of that. You remember 2021? There you go. So I would imagine in the midterm, we'd probably see a bit of upside if that decision is made. But again, I just don't care. Just give me the price action and we'll trade it. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if immediately on that news, that would be a very uncertain event. Which, you know, you might end up seeing a bearish push. If it came out right now that Trump fired Powell, you might see a bearish push. And then over the next few weeks, you might see a bull push as people kind of realize maybe what that means. Total speculation, though, and I do not care. Just give me the price action. We'll trade it. All right. Come on, hold that low for the next 15 seconds. Hold the low, hold the low, hold the low. I want to see if I can take out some of those stops. Close beneath that previous bar wick and above the low of day. Come on, bears. That's reasonable. We'll give that a try. I'm going to give this trade lots of room. We're going to put on some risk here. We're going to widen things out. See if we can take out that low. Now, again, I'm just putting these orders out as protective orders, just in case news hits, because it's a news day here today. And let's see if we can take out that low. There you go. Come on, bears, take out those low day stops. There it is. You see that? A little bit of a fall through. Now the bulls are going to try to come back in. Let's see if they can fail at doing so. There's a nice push. There, we'll pull it there as we kind of approach 15, 20 points. All right, good little trade. Let's move on. Next bar here, 38 seconds till the rollover. By the way, I'm in 15, 20 points through the low. Obviously, that trade was more like mid to high 30 points in terms of profit. Okay. In markets that get more volatile, guys, I'm telling you, stop hunting is a fantastic. If you have a setup, that's a half decent setup, man. It just worries me because I know we're in a range market and these breakouts are not going very far. The problem is we're getting news and this is new to the market. Okay, so I'm actually going to hold off on that one just because I know that we're making a push now into lows, and it would not surprise me if we saw the bulls try to take it at least higher, maybe recover this bar. I absolutely could have shorted that rollover. Discretionary call, I'm not going to this time. But if we get it again on this bar, I'm going to have to. We got a minute 25 out. But stop hunting, and again, there's no stops here, which is also coming into that decision. When you're at low a day, right? There's no more stops, really. When the market gets more volatile, stop hunting is such a great way to just improve everything. Win rate, reward to risk. It just makes your trading better if you have a setup coming into the stop region. We know there's going to be stops here. It's low a day. What are stops? They're market sell orders that help push you deeper into the money. If you get a setup coming in, sell that rollover, wait for the stops to get taken out if they can. That's always the question. Boom, they get taken out. It pushes you in the money. You can take profit on the push. It only works when markets are more volatile though, or in, you know, maybe a kind of a pullback trend market. Not like a hard trend market, because you never get stops developing because you're always making new highs or new lows. But okay, we got 25 seconds out. Let's see if we get a nice strong close out of the bears. Yeah, that's the idea, Joe. Let's see if we can pop up the open P&L. 8 seconds. See if the bears can close this low. I don't want to see a big wick. I do not like that wick. Come on, bears, take us lower. Yeah, that is ugly. I hate that wick. Let's move on. Next bar. Next bar. Bulls try to step in. I'm not into that. All right, minute 50 out. Let's see what we get on this bar. Now, just a heads up, guys. A mistake that I made a lot in the early days is I would sit here and I'd think, yeah, what's rational, right? Well, Trump wants lower rates, so he's probably going to bring someone in that'll lower rates more willingly than Powell. Okay, the market likes low rates, even if it means inflation in a few years. They like money now. The market wants to make money now. It'll deal with the problem later. So, I mean, kind of like, remember 2020, 2021? We dealt with it in 2022. 2022 was a brutal bear market year, man. But we dealt with it later. But the market just wants to make money right now. Okay, so you think, okay, well, maybe we'd get a dump off of uncertainty first, and then we might see a bullish push. A big mistake that I would make in the early days is I would think logically like that and be like, all right, I'm just going to buy this bear trend because I think, you know, maybe the news hits, then we get a huge reversal up and I make 800 points. Just trade the price action. The market's really, really efficient. It's really smart. It's doing what it's doing. Just trade the price action. Unless you get a signal bar, like a strong bull bar here closing up near the high here, I would buy that. Without that, don't be buying this unless we're in a super brutal range market. We were in a range market earlier today. We're still in a range market overarching on the daily chart, but this is strong compared to what we've been seeing lately. Don't step ahead of that train and then keep averaging down. It's really, really painful. See if we get a nice strong close. Inside bar, no trade. It might work every once in a while. A lot of times you're going to get run over, and nothing sucks more, I'm telling you, psychologically, emotionally, financially, than getting run over on a move like this. You know, you bought the low here. You don't stop yourself out. You're still holding. Maybe you get lucky, right? But maybe you don't. It goes down another 200 points. Maybe the news hits now and it dumps 400 points. Just trade the price action. Wait for the signal bars. My strategy is called price action. But I gotta be honest, like, people ask, what's your strategy in 2 words? The best thing I can say is price action. I can't really... The best way to learn what I'm doing is to just watch, right? I think a lot of you guys who've been watching, even for just a couple of days, you're like, okay, I kind of get what he's doing. But you also see that a lot of this is discretionary decision making. So it's not just like a strategy that I can sit here and teach you in 30 minutes, really. It takes screen time. It takes, I think, certain scenarios, and then having... The best way to learn would be, you know, you're able to say, hey, Nico, this happened today. What do you think you would have done? I don't really have any more than 3 months of screen time. You have almost a decade of screen time. What would you maybe have done in this scenario? Are you seeing something that I didn't? That's like the best way, I would say. Hang on here. We have a bull bar. And of course, you know, not every trade's going to work. That's the game, man. If you don't like losing, or if you can't get over the fact that you're going to lose a lot, don't be a trader. Let's see here. All right. Ah, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Next bar. Ran ahead of my stop limit buy before I could place it. That was my fault. Alright, we're minute 30 out. By the way, 20 EMA on the 5 minute is still up at 22,975. So we've got some room here. Let's see if we can get a decent close here out of the 2 minute. I'm not too concerned about this 20 EMA on the 2. It looks like it has been respected. It's just not really self-fulfilling prophecy enough. All right, 38 seconds out here. It can be really tough, by the way. I want to trade. I can use limit orders still. But when volatility is really high like this, I prefer... It's kind of nuanced, right? To use stop limit entries. But it can be really tough to place them when it's like this. Place that there. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful entry. And I will initially place my risk here. Just below the signal bar. There we go. Let's see if we can get a bit of a push. Now, if this ends up being a bear, here's the bear case right now. I'm long. I don't want to talk about the bear case, but we gotta talk about the bear case. We could end up seeing this right now. If we see that, that's more information. But I like how that sits right now, so let's see. Risk is actually relatively tight here, considering all. But if we give up this signal bar here, then my idea is kind of broken regardless, and we're probably looking at a bear, like a descending channel, right? With big bounces, big reversions. So I'd want to be stopped out if we give up the signal bar. Bull's trying. Small little pushes here. Nothing big yet. There we go. That's decent. Yeah, I don't love that close out of the bulls. Now again here, bears are going to try to make this a thing, right? So that channel right now is my enemy. About 60 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. See how we close here. Again, risk on this trade relatively tight. volatility considered. ATR, by the way, is up to 38. That's very, very high for a 2-minute chart this time of day. I want to get this up out of the way because I'm driving manually. If I hit the hotkey at the same time, we get a big pump. I don't want to get filled short on accident, so let's get that up out of the way. I've had that happen, believe it or not. Fingers on the hotkeys, ready to go. Come on, Bulls, do it to him. You're looking a little weak on me. See if we can get up through 950. There we go. It's half decent. Pull it at 26 points. All right, good trade. What was that? Maybe 2,500? More like 3,000 bucks. Move on. Volatility's starting to slow a little bit. Let's see if that trend continues here. You see the range on these bars? Starting to, yellow is what I'm looking at, right? Starting to fade a little bit. This is a 2-minute chart, remember? And this is the point, the average, I'm sorry, the orange is the actual range in points of each individual bar, whereas the blue is the average of the last 10 2-minute bars, so the last 20 minutes. Starting to fade a little bit in terms of volatility. All right, we're a minute 33 out here from the rollover of this 2 minute. If we do get a nice bear bar, I'm gonna have to enter short. Because that would start to look like this. Then maybe we'll get another test of the lows. Not that I'd necessarily hold it that far, but I need to see this close pretty much well beneath this wick low here. Otherwise, we could be looking at a sideways trading range, which has been very common lately. So you gotta be careful that you don't get caught trying to bet on a breakout in what ends up being a sideways trading range. You're not gonna be right every time, obviously. Just make the best decision you can in the moment, accept the outcome, move on. But for me to be less convinced that this is a sideways trading range, I need to see this close quite a bit lower, well beneath this wick low. We have 33 seconds to do so. Let's see if the bears can get that done, or if this starts to look like a sideways trading range, meaning like this kind of thing, right? In which case, I don't want to be short right at the bottom of that. I will get ready. Nope, big inside close, not there. Next bar. How are you guys doing today? I mean, this volatility is crazy. Are you guys getting kind of chopped up, cut up, or are you making money? My first trade today was ugly. Sloppy entry. It really big volatility on the rollover. Gave me a not so favorable entry, maybe 5-10 points worse than I would have liked. But it's never the market's fault. It's always our fault, right? So that was my fault. Then I got reversed on, put us pretty reasonable in the red for the first trade of the day. But we are back to green. We're up like $1,700, $1,750 so far on the day. Look at this. Look at this. Cisco, $600 on each of my 3 Take Profit Pro accounts. Awesome. Awesome. The daily payouts there, man, they're very helpful. Especially if you're trying to kind of bootstrap going full time. Get some money coming into the bank. Apex is fantastic for scaling. I love Apex. It's just when you're starting fresh, you know, for a lot of you guys, you have to wait on the money with Apex. That'll wake you up. We have Trump on Powell, not planning on doing anything. What? He said Powell is too late. He's open to the idea of firing Powell. Doesn't look like he's gonna fire him, at least not yet. Trump asked if he will fire Powell, not planning. What in the world? Trump says change will be in the next 8 months. Yeah, for Fed chair. Okay, so he's not planning on doing it. All right, well, let's see how this bar closes up. We have 50 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. Yeah, I get it, guys. There's a lot of nuance in whether or not that's even possible. I don't care about that. All I care about is, hey, does it happen? Is there a loophole? Does it happen? Don't trade on, well, he can't do this, he can't do that, because, you know, and then it happens and you get screwed. Just trade on what actually is going on. Price action. News is 50-50. Market seems pretty indecisive after this big bar, though, to be honest with you. Well, we're right back pretty much at 23,000. Pretty much back where we started so far here, back in this range before all this crazy news happened. All right, we're still getting a few headlines here out of Trump, but it looks like it's going to be more of an explanation of why he's not going to do anything and wait 8 months for it to kind of resolve itself. So, obviously, we're never sure, but I don't imagine we're going to see some huge market-moving headlines here now about this topic, at least. We might see this turn into a sideways trading range. If that happens, we'll see volatility start to fade, and we can just start kind of looking at buy low, sell high mentality. But I need a little bit more information here to start leaning into that again. Yeah, hey, in volatile markets like this, stop hunting is a hell of a way to make money. If you have a setup coming into it, it requires kind of a very specific setup, at least for me, the way that I trade. But you guys have seen me stop hunt tons, at least on stream now. A lot more, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, when the market was a little bit more volatile. Lately, it's been a lot more scalping. But it's a hell of a way to make money. I mean, I think of it like kind of like free rocket fuel if you can take it out. The stop sell trigger pushes you deeper in the money, adds to your edge. And you've seen I've done very well on stop hunting the past, well, again, more like 2 or 3 months ago and now today. When the range market hits, stop hunting becomes less effective because everyone sees that it's, ranging like back here. Right, this kind of thing. You don't want to get caught trying to stop hunt at least too much in that kind of movement. But this kind of movement, 100%, works very well if you have a setup coming into it. I gotta see this work itself out. I'll be back in 2 minutes, grabbing coffee. Don't go anywhere, back soon. All right, baby, we're back. And this market's still trying to work out this little sideways trading range. Just top right of your screen, you see all those wicks? Well, I guess top left too. Top left is the 5 minute, top right's the 2 minute. A lot of wicks. It means a lot of indecisiveness out of the market. After all that Trump craziness, let's see if the bears can break this lower. 60 seconds out until we see a close of this 2 minute bar. Let's see what we get. Gotta tell you, I'm a little bit hesitant to bet on big breaks downside unless we see a very obvious signal bar, because I tend to kind of lean into, I think this is probably going to be a sideways trading range. So if we did see a bear close down here, I'd be more inclined to buy it. If we saw a big bear close way down here, I would be more inclined to sell it. So let's see what we get here, 25 seconds out. As long as we can maintain somewhat of an image of this trading range, again, I'm more inclined to buy that close if we can get a nice low close out of the bears. 10 seconds out. Bull's trying to wick it right back up into the range, man. Here comes the rollover. Looks like it's going to be an inside close. Closing as a doji. No good. No trade there for me. Next bar. Man, right back into this little trading range. Careful here, by the way, in the middle of this trading range. It's really, really hard, in my experience, to find edge. If you have an edge in the middle of ranges, man, have at it. It's really hard. I looked for middle of trading range edges like this for a long time. Couldn't really find anything of value. Now, of course, they're going to always look a little different, but when you have this kind of thing going on, I mean, just a rough draw, right? Really, really hard. Lower third of the channel, interesting. Top third of the channel can be interesting. Middle, really, really tough. I stay away from it. I tend to just lose money when I trade the middle of ranges like that. Yeah, I mean, listen, hey, if you guys in the chat, if you want to chat about politics, that's fine. I don't mind, but we're adults, okay? You guys know my view on politics. Vote on policy. And if you present a good argument for your side, I don't give a shit who you vote for. But vote on policy. Please don't vote on... Well, do whatever you want. You're an adult. But I think a big problem in America is people voting on special interest. and not respecting the other viewpoint. If you think the country should be run separately from someone else as far as policy, man, God bless you, I don't care. But special interest is out of control. No, tubed out, I am not. I told you guys, I'm 5'1". How many times I gotta say it? All right, we have 23,000. Again, kind of an area of interest here. Let's see if we can get a nice... It's the middle of these ranges, man. It's tough. It's really, really tough. All right, 18 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. And again, 23K, that's a tier 1 level. I'm gonna short right there. I'm gonna short right there, and I will risk... Keep it tight. Keep it tight, and look for... There we go. And look for a little scalp here. Boom, pull that baby off. 9.5 points. Beautiful. Add another, what, $1,000 or so? Moving on. Yeah, it's micros. That's micros. You know, honestly, I've thought about moving to minis in a few of the accounts. It's too hard to trade minis and micros copy trading. Either I'm moving all the accounts to minis, or I guess one mini in a lot of the accounts and then move up from there. But for me, I guess I'd rather just trade more micros because I haven't been having copy trader issues in the accounts that I want to trade more in. But that's something I've been thinking about. I think more so if I trade an account individually, then I'll trade a mini or 2 or 3 in my bigger accounts. In copy trading, I prefer to keep it to micros just because you can still make enough money, and with issues, it's less of a disaster. You know what I mean? Oh, and you can, if you need to add, if you need to scale in, you can, because you're starting small enough, which is huge. If you're starting with too big of a position, you can't add. If you want to. PG, hey Nico, you consider patterns valid on this short 2-minute time frame? Because I see an inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I'm not big on that kind of stuff. I look at, you know, hey, what's everyone maybe looking at here? What is the self-fulfilling prophecy? What's the price action telling me? Where are the stops? Where's the obvious range that humans and algorithms are gonna draw or visualize, at least, right? I'm more into that kind of stuff. The patterns themselves, I might think, yeah, I think a lot of people probably see a bear flag or a bull flag or this or that. Maybe a double top, double bottom. I think a lot of people see that. But a lot of that stuff really just turns into, well, can I stop hunt that, or are we in more of a range? So I'm not really huge on traditional patterns, just because if everyone's doing it and most people are losing money, my thought process, I guess, is I gotta look at this a different way. But hey, listen, if the patterns make you money, do not let me talk you out of them. Make money. That's why we're fucking here. But they never treated me that well. Granted, from the early days, I kind of thought of it that way, so I never dove extremely hard into them. But that's my thought process on it. Doesn't mean you can't trade them, man. If you're making money, I will happily support you trading all the patterns. We're here to make money. Nico, seems like you line up well with Al Brooks' philosophies. Man, he's an OG. Respect. He's logical. He thinks about things in, I think, the right way. Yeah, I do think we probably trade similar, at least for the most part, similarly, with some variation, of course. The same way, hey, if you're like, I'm going to adopt the way that Nico trades, I do it. I don't care. The market's huge. You're not going to ruin my edge. I don't care. The futures market is very deep. But you're probably going to end up having little different nuanced things that you do over time. Kind of a spin-off. Totally cool. All right, we're 26 seconds out here from the rollover of this 2-minute bar. I still think we're in a range. Man, doji closed. Nothing I can do on that bar. On to the next bar here, a minute 56 out. Let's see what we get. You know, if we had 100,000 people on the street who understand candlestick charts at 5,000 algos, what are they probably looking at? I'd say probably something like this, right? Pull this down. Flat top more so. Probably something like that, right? I'd say most, that'd be probably about the average of what most people would draw here, looking back about 30 minutes. Don't overthink it, man. Just draw the average of what you think most people would draw. All right, 18 seconds till the rollover here, this 2 minute. There's just nothing there on this bar, man. Looks like we might get an inside close. Yeah, inside of this wick low. Bears are going to try to break this out. I would need to see a very, very aggressive breakout for me to consider getting short. I need more confirmation in a range like this, just because most of these breakouts are going to fail. 80% plus, maybe 85 or 90% are going to fail here. But if it succeeds, then it's like, all right, I'll jump on the train. But this right here, this is not a succeeding breakout at all yet. That's just the bears trying to get something done. Yeah, you see that? Bull's going to take it back up into the range. Back to a 2 minute here. This is my execution screen. This happens a lot lately. You end up seeing this kind of thing. As volatility slows, the range itself starts to tighten down. But I just want you guys to be aware that that might be there. But I'm going to delete that, clean things up a little. Middle of the range here again. Happy to be here, Michael. Gotta be careful here, right in the middle of the range. Gotta be careful. Really, it really is tough to find edge here. Now you could argue that the middle of the range is here, maybe up here. Either way, right now we're in it, man. We're not, obviously not in the top third. We're not in the bottom third. I have to be careful. Maybe you make tons of money in the middle of the range. I think it's really tough, and I don't. I give back in the middle of the range, so I gotta hold off while we're in the middle here. But that's the beauty of the 2 minute. We're really never further away than 2 minutes from taking a trade. One second here, real quick. Right. The volatility's slowing here a bit. ATR is now at 25. The range of the last 2-minute bar, though, top right of your screen, was 7.25 points. Man. I believe, yeah, that's maybe one of, if not the, lowest volatility bar of the day. That last bar there. So, market seems pretty indecisive here right in the middle of this range. Again, that's why I like to stay away from the middle. By the way, guys, Take Profit Trader is still running their 4th of July sale, which is a ridiculous, stupid deal. If you use code BIG, they wipe the activation fee when you pass, which is $130 that you don't have to pay, and you get 40% off the test. Which is, I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I don't know how long they're going to keep that. They have not released that, but that was the 4th of July deal that they've just continued to run here for a little while longer. And of course, that's code BIG, B-I-G, baby. Well, we've managed to clean things up a little bit here. That's where we sit so far. Not done. Joe, wow, never really seen bars that small in a long time. Yeah, since yesterday. I mean, you get used to volatility, man. It's really nice. It's really nice when this kind of thing starts happening. And this can just get kind of frustrating. Yep, just go all caps, BIG. I don't actually think the capitalization matters, but just throw in all caps. That's how I have it set up. And that'll give you the best deal always at Take Profit Trader and Apex. Doesn't matter when you use it, it'll always be the best available deal. Yes, Apex is still 80% off and single day pass. So you can pass in one day, which is the beauty of Apex. I mean, the point of using Apex in my head, I really like Apex, okay? They've never done me wrong. I've always gotten paid. The money has always hit my account with Apex. I've never had a problem. And I'm going to continue to use them. But yeah, the beauty of Apex is it's great for scaling because you can go to 20 accounts. And when you can pass them in one day, you can spend an afternoon trading evals, get through them, have them funded, and not have to worry about it. The opportunity cost is a great ROI at Apex because you can pass the eval so quick. Now, the trade-off there is you don't get daily payouts with Apex, right? That's why I see Apex as more of a scaling tool to really push the income bigger, right? Whereas Take Profit I see as a really good way. You can still make a lot of money at Take Profit, but with the daily payouts, it's a really great way to bootstrap going full time. I do think you should use both though, because it's really nice to have that mix. And that's what I do, I use both. Yes, sir. All right, this volatility's dying off, man. I mean, the last 4 2-minute bars, bottom of your screen. Look at these. They're about 10 points or less on the last 4 2-minute bars. And in the middle of the range, which is why I'm sitting here hands off. I mean, listen, this is the job. We've taken what? I think 1, 2, 3, 4. We've taken 4 trades, 4 scalps. Well, 4 trades, I'll call them here today. 1 or 2 scalps. The other were more like quicker swings. We are 3 for 4 on the day. And we're sitting up about $2,900. But there's nothing I can do right now. But again, hey, we're never further than 1 2-minute bar away from taking a trade. We gotta see this volatility ramp up a little bit and get out of the middle of this range. There we go. There's 23,000, tier 1 level. Been tested a ton in the last couple of weeks. We're just getting glued to that 23,000 region. It has been trading ranges around 23K galore. Volatility past a 50K would take Profit Trader today. Do I still need to pay the subscription monthly fee, or does that go away? That goes away. No, you do not. That goes away. Let's extend things out a little bit here. Still kind of looking at this little wedge. We'll see if that little flat top can get broken. Of course, we have this wick up top. Again, in a trading range like this, though, you got to be careful. Betting on breakouts, man. Most of the breakouts, they're just not going to go very far. Especially with volatility being what it is currently. Here's the test of this little flat top I have drawn. Remember, you could draw this a lot of different ways, so the line itself is not an exact science. More so just looking at that region here. Joe, Nico, is that as far left as you look on the 2? No, I have more. I have like an ultra wide screen, so I can actually see more than you guys can on stream. But what you're seeing on stream, I take more weight on things as we move closer to the current bar. But unless we're looking at like the high or low of day, because that's always relevant because there's so many stops there, right? So right now I can see back to about 9:56 Central. Whereas you guys on stream can see back to about 10:52. But again, I'm looking at what you guys are looking at. I'm not really looking that far back unless we have a high of day or low of day, which I let you guys know about anyway. All right, guys, well, volatility, we're really slowing down here. We're kind of in this little trading range. I want to see, we're probably going to see volatility increase here after the New York lunch hour. So I guess I'm going to join them. I'm going to go hit a meal, and I'll come back and scalp the afternoon and see what we can get. But we did start out in the red this morning, cleaned it up a bit. We're 3 for 4 on the day. That's where we currently sit, about 2,900 bucks. Not bad. I don't know, not the goal, but not bad. At least in a market like today. So, all right, guys. Hey, if you're new here, we have a lot of new people here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. I am scalping live every single morning. And make sure everybody wins. Use code BIG, B-I-G, for the best deal always at Take Profit Trader and Apex. Okay, Take Profit again right now. They're still running the 4th of July sale, 40% off, no activation fee, which saves a lot of money. And Apex, if you're looking to scale and take this thing as big as you can, is 80% off. And single day pass, which is very helpful, obviously, to help scale to 10, 15, 20 accounts. All right, guys. All right, I will see you all tomorrow morning. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Be patient, let it come to you, but when it does, don't be scared. Fucking hit it when it comes. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow morning.